There are several approaches to qualitative research, and there are various types of qualitative research. In the current presentation, we will have a brief overview of the main types of qualitative research. So, qualitative research generally is a systematic exploratory approach that is used to understand social phenomena generally in their natural settings. So, in contrast to quantitative research and experimental research, where there is generally manipulation of certain variables, qualitative research is generally take place in natural environments, and there is generally no manipulation of the settings or the variables. The focus of qualitative research is on exploring meanings, perspectives, and experiences of individuals or groups. The individuals could also be the researchers themselves if they are experiencing or observing phenomena. The emphasis in qualitative research is on the in-depth exploration, contextual analysis in detail, and richness of data collection and analysis. And lastly, qualitative research is generally based on generation of detailed insights into situations, theories, and the understanding of subjects under study, keeping in view the context in which they actually take place. So now there are several types of qualitative research, but these 6 are the main types of qualitative research identified by academics and researchers. And so these include ethnography, grounded theory, phenomenology, narrative research, case study, and discourse analysis. So we will briefly describe each of these one by one. So first of all, ethnography. Ethnography is basically a qualitative research type that focuses on studying people and cultures within their natural environments. So we can say ethnographies are studies of groups of people, or in other words, cultures and social groups. Generally, researchers engross or immerse themselves in the community or the settings in which they are conducting these studies. And the aim of these type of studies, ethnographic studies, is to gain insights into cultural and social norms, practices, and or perspectives. Examples of ethnography include, for example, a researcher generally lives among a remote tribe for several months or maybe years in some cases to understand their social structures, their rituals, and their belief systems. There is a variety of ethnographic studies, but this is just one example. And so a specific example of this could be, for example, a study of the of particular tribes, such as the Kailash tribe in the Chitral area of Pakistan. So the Kailash is a particular peculiar type of tribe, a historical people who are living in a particular geographical location, and they have distinct culture and distinct types of living structure. So a study of them in detail will be kind of considered as ethnographic, as a form of ethnography. Grounded theory approach or grounded theory type of qualitative research is basically a research that is aimed to develop theories or explanations grounded in empirical data. So generally, most quantitative studies or experimental studies begin with a sound theoretical or empirical background. On the other hand, grounded theory approaches, in particular among the qualitative types of research, is something that begins with data rather than with a previous theory or explanation. And the process of grounded theory approach is based on systematic data collection and analysis to construct theories that emerge from the data itself, and so it focuses on areas with no or limited previous theoretical background or literature background. Examples of grounded theory research is included. For example, if a research conducts interviews with teachers to explore their perceptions regarding their identity construction. So the researcher here is not applying any previous theories related to the identity construction in general, but they are interested in the identity construction of a particular group of teachers in a particular geographical area or in a particular cultural context. So when they begin this process with data collection through interviews with teachers, and then develop a theory based on insight that they get from that empirical data. This will be an example of grounded theory, where the theory is an outcome of grounding in the empirical data collection and analysis. Phenomenology is another type of qualitative research which aims at phenomenological studies, at an understanding of the essence of human experiences and perceptions related to specific phenomena. So phenomenological studies explore how, for example, individuals make sense of their experiences in particular contexts. Such studies often focus on the psychological sides of human experience, or in other words, the shaping of feelings. So researchers, for example, this is an example where researchers interviews individuals who have undergone intense experiences such as near-death experiences to explore the common themes and meanings that the participants associate with their experiences. So we can say that phenomenological studies are kind of psychological studies where the in-depth experiences involving feelings and emotions and personal subjective interpretations of the participants who are involved in those experiences are explored. And then narrative research, as the very name suggests, are studies that focus on narratives or stories, and these are based on an understanding of the human experiences through the analysis of the stories or narratives that they share with researchers. So how people construct and interpret their life stories are questions that are explored through narrative research. Examples, for example, a researcher collects personal narratives from cancer survivors to understand their journeys of illness, their treatment, and their recovery. So when these patients who have recovered tell stories of of how they went through the whole process. Similarly, a narrative inquiry of the causes and consequences of divorce among people. So generally in narrative research, as the name suggests, the researcher explores the phenomena through listening to stories of those who are involved in the phenomena, and then they do analysis of those stories, and so they come up with their interpretation of those stories. And then case studies. So a case study is basically an in-depth or detailed exploration or examination of a specific individual or a group or a phenomena within its real life context. So generally it provides detailed and holistic insights into the subject of the study. Examples include, for example, a researcher conducts a case study on a school that successfully implemented a new educational curriculum. Here the peculiarity or specificity of the school is that their school is a case that has successfully implemented a curriculum, And so the researcher is interested in exploring this case because of its success. So there could be other reasons because of which a certain case could be explored. Another example is a research study that explored the success story of, for example, a physician in a particular area, or in some cases the failure stories and so on. And lastly, discourse analysis is another main type of qualitative research where the focus is on analysis of the discourse, or an examination of the use of language within social context in order to understand how meaning is constructed and negotiated. The focus of discourse analysis is generally an analysis of how language is used in particular socio-cultural or socio-political contexts. So it focuses on the ways in which language presents, shapes, and or reflects social reality. Examples include a researcher, for example, if a researcher analyzes political speeches to uncover underlying ideologies and power dynamics embedded in the discourse. So we as we know that political speeches are often reflective of particular ideologies and power dynamics in socio-economic situations. So an analysis of those speeches, a systematic analysis of those in order to uncover these socio-economic ideologies and power dynamics will be an example of discourse analysis. Similarly, if a researcher examines the construction of gender, race, or class identities in particular media and advertising or in newspaper articles, for example, that will be another example of discourse analysis, where the use of language, especially the how of the use of language, is explored. So these were like the main types of qualitative research. Here are some references that you can read for further exploring these concepts.